Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Jenny for Your Thoughts podcast. So, this is the third episode. I am actually so proud of myself that I've done two episodes already, and now I'm on to the third one. And I had to get this last one in before I left Bali. I leave Bali in 5 days, I think it is. And I could have put it off. I could have said, oh, I'll just wait till I get home to get another one in. But I said, no. I think this is a nice way to mark my last few days in Bali. And it fits nicely with the theme of today's podcast. So, yeah, here I am. And it's actually crazy to think that I'm going home in a few days. Like, God, it went fast, but it didn't go fast. Like, I mean, it feels like a long time ago since I arrived, but also it doesn't. So by the time I do leave, I will have spent just about 7 weeks out here. And it's been a crazy 7 weeks, like absolutely crazy. It's been a complete roller coaster, to be fair. Like, I I suppose I did have expectations before coming out here because Bali's obviously really promoted online. There's so much about Bali. It's this, place of healing, and anyone who goes there is going to find themselves and, all that kind of good stuff. But I did have a lot of expectations about the place. Did it live up to my expectations? I think definitely it did. However, maybe in a different way. And I've learned so much, like so much about myself and about life and about just everything. So I think this episode is going to be mainly solo traveling and my experience with it and just everything I've learned over the last 7 weeks. Um, I the main kind of reason why I wanted to come out here on my own was because I had this like burning desire to just be in my own space. And I think mainly because like the last couple of months they were very stressful. So like I obviously had my final year project, so my thesis, and then other personal factors were into play, and there was a lot just coming together. I had an event, a public speaking event, which was amazing but very stressful. I was very nervous for it. So there was just a lot of things coming together at once. And throughout that, I just said, you know what, when I submit that thesis, I just want to leave, and I just want to be in my own company, and I think I just get away from everything. Like, I was so excited for the flight here because it was 20 hours, and I was like, I cannot wait to sit on that plane, put my headphones in, and just sit, like, just nothing. Like, sit in silence. Had my headphones in, but like for a lot of it, I just had them on so that no one would bother me, and I just sat there with my eyes closed and just was like, this is just so amazing that like I don't have to think about college. I can forget about that bloody thesis. I don't have to worry about someone calling me from downstairs. I don't have to worry about picking up the phone. I don't have to worry about, it was just amazing. And I think that's why I wanted to come here on my own, because like, not in an offensive way of like, oh, I just need to get rid of or not see anyone, but it was just like, I just need space. I just need my own space. And I think Bali has done exactly what I've needed it to do and more. Like, I had a lot of like expectations, like I said, coming out here, but I think the trip has served me in ways that I didn't think it would, or I didn't think it needed to. Like, I didn't expect certain things to come up or for myself to learn about certain things, but it has just really given me, I feel, what I've needed. And I do feel like I have like leveled up in some way. and I've entered this kind of new phase of my life. I do see life as phases. So I think, like, you know, instead of thinking of times like a year, like as in, 2017 was the year I did X, Y, and Z, I think of it as phases. So, like, for me, like, September 2022 to December 2022 was kind of a phase for me. And then January to March was a phase. And then March from now was a phase. And I just think of life as different phases. So I think when I leave Bali, I will be finishing up that phase and entering a new phase. And I like that way of thinking, because it's like, instead of having to wait for like a new year, new me, there's always opportunity to begin something new. So like when I go home now, that's the beginning of a new phase for me. And it's amazing, because it's like, okay, this will be the first time I'm back in Ireland with the knowledge I've gained. So I'm like, it's just a new opportunity to do things. I don't know, like, does that make a lot of sense? But yeah, so I'm beyond grateful that I did get to experience, to come out here and be able to just live here for a while and learn things that I did. So I'm just going to touch on the different things that I feel like I have learned. I think the first thing I'm going to touch on is kind of a broad one, and I think this one will probably like apply to a lot of people, because a lot of people do go abroad or do solo travel, and I think this one is one that kind of cropped up as well very at the very start of this journey. And it's that I had such a desire to be in my own company and have my own space, but actually when I got here, I kind of was like, oh no, like, I don't know if this is right. I remember the first night I arrived here, and, you know, I was so excited. Like, it was amazing. The plane was amazing. Everything was just great. And I arrived to the hotel, and I just started crying. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, honestly, I panicked a lot, and I was like, what have I done? Like, I'm on the other side of the world. And I did get a bit of a fright. Like, I was kind of like, Jesus, like, I don't know anything. I was sitting in this hotel room, I was looking out my window, and I was like, I don't know anyone here. Like, I do not know. It's just, I can't explain it. Like, if you haven't been to Asia yet, it's so different to home. Like, Bali in particular, actually that's biased because I haven't been to other parts of Asia, but like, it's just a complete difference. Like, I know people who, obviously people, I've been to Spain, or people going to Australia, or like, you know, obviously it's a different country, but there's so much similarity as well. Whereas like here, there is literally nothing the same. Like, everything is just so different. So it's just like a complete rejig of everything. So I just felt this huge sense of overwhelm, and I was like, oh my God. I was crying and crying and crying. And I was like, I just didn't know how to feel. I just felt really, really anxious. And it's funny because I love being on my own. Like, I love being in my own company, but like, that was the most alone I had ever felt. And I thought I would love it, but I didn't. I felt very scared. And I think that's a very normal thing to feel. I think anyone who is solo traveling, or anyone who has moved abroad or is in a different environment, even if you moved county and you're like in a new house and whatever it is, like, if you feel like that, I think it's just so normal. Like, of course you're going to feel like that. And I messaged a friend, and they will know who they are. But they were just amazing. And they just basically were like, Jen, you're in a completely different country, in a completely different continent, a completely different time zone. Of course you're going to feel like that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Like, I don't know why I expected myself not to feel like that, but I did. And over the next couple of days after that, like, I think I just realized that, like, being on your own and, like, you know, having your own space is so different when you're actually at home in your hometown in your own house and your parents are just not there, that is so different to being on the other side of the world on your own. And I know, like, obviously you might be like, obviously that's different, but like, I didn't really think like that. I thought, okay, I love my own space. I love when I have a free house and I can just do my own thing. But like, having a free house and having, the house to yourself for the evening is lovely, but you have that reassurance that your parents will be home tomorrow, or if you do get lonely, you can ring a friend and they'll call over, or your housemate will be calling for half an hour, like there's always, you have that kind of safety net of, okay, this is amazing, but if I do want to meet someone, I can. Whereas when I was out here, I was like, I don't have that. So I think I love my own space, but I also love having the security of someone being there if I need them. And that was the first main thing that kind of clicked with me. It was like, actually, I do love that reassurance of having that connection with someone if I do need a friend or if I do need someone to talk to. And I think I really undervalued that social interaction, the small social interactions that I got in my day. Like, I spend a good bit of time on my own because, like, obviously I work for myself. I'm on my laptop a lot. But I kind of took for granted the small encounters I had every day. So, like, I might go for a walk and I'd meet someone and I'd chat to them for 5 minutes. Or I'd go to the gym, chat to a few people I knew. Like, I really underestimated that, and I really undervalued that, and I don't want to say I took it for granted because I love meeting people like that and I love chatting to them in the gym, but I didn't realize how much it served me. And when that was gone, I was like, God, I actually, those little interactions every day do actually mean much more than I thought. And I think that was that was the main first learning I got from this, was that there is a lot of value in just interacting, even if it's 5 minutes with the person. And obviously I was interacting with people out here, like in the shop or something, but like that how do I even say that? Familiarity? I don't know. That familiarity, whatever way you say it, I missed it. I really, really did miss that. And I think that's something that I'm really going to value when I go home, is like those small little interactions I get that I didn't think much of before, but now I really, really do value them. So that was kind of the first learning I've had from this trip. Like, I think if you are traveling alone, it's so glamorized online, and like everything looks so bliss, and life is amazing and these views are fantastic. And I think I've proven to myself that like that's just not the case. Yes, these incredible sights and these incredible beaches and whatever, they're all amazing, but like mental health is still a thing. Like, it's not like you just come out to these beautiful islands and like all your issues go. Like, you still have the same brain, you still have the same issues, you still have the same life experience and trauma and whatever. Like, it's still there. And I'm someone who's open on my Instagram page, so I'm able to express that, okay, this is amazing, but I still feel sad some days. Most people don't share that, and I really, really want to emphasize that. You see people traveling all the time, living their best life. I put that in inverted commas, to be honest. They could be absolutely miserable. It is so easy to take a photo of a sunset or a beautiful scenery or just a really nice photo, but the person taking the photo could literally be really sad or really anxious or whatever. Traveling and being abroad, like, it's hard, especially when you're on your own. Like, there is a lot of difficult periods as well. Like it's not all happy and amazing and flourishing all the time. Like, there is a lot of challenges, and I think that's given me great peace as well, because like, I've met people out here as well who, you know, you would think their life is just really, really bliss, and like, it's just this perfect existence, but like, they do struggle. Like, I've chatted to a lot of people out here who've said like they felt really homesick, they felt very out of, I suppose, disconnected with their body, they don't feel at home, they can't settle. Like, there's lots of people out here that, I don't want to say are posting inauthentic, but like, they they're not they're not living up to the standard that everyone else thinks they are. Like, they're not thriving and doing everything amazingly each day. Like, it's just as normal to struggle with mental health here than it is back in Ireland in a small town, you know? Like, and I actually had this other kind of realization as well, that like, a lot of people come to Bali when they're dealing with something, or when they're going through a crisis, or they need to heal, or they need to overcome something. So if you actually think about it, it's a very rare place, because I heard someone saying like, it's kind of it's a population of broken people. Not that I'm broken, but like, you know, it's a group, it's an island of people who come here to maybe heal or learn, or, you know, it's rare that there's so much of that all in one place. Like, obviously people are healing and developing all across the world, but like, I think Bali has a very rare and different vibe about it, because it attracts all these people who are trying to maybe overcome certain things or really improve in certain areas. And, you know, that's gonna take a toll on people as well, because if everyone is trying to overcome things, like, it's intense. Like, that's not me bashing Bali. I think it's such a special place. I really think everyone should visit it at some stage. But yeah, I think that's quite an interesting way to look at it, because it's like, actually, yeah, a lot of people who come out here are like trying to improve, or, as people will say, like, discover or find themselves, you know? I think something that this trip has really brought for me is like the power of connecting with people, and also the effort I need to make with connecting with people. So like, you don't just come out here and all of a sudden you've 100 friends. Like, you have to make an effort to meet people, whether you are starting a new school, starting college, traveling, moving abroad, moving town, whatever it is. Like, don't expect friends to just flow to you. Like, you will see people online who move abroad and they make so many friends, but like, that comes with effort. Like, you do need to put yourself out there. You do need to make an effort with people, because you're not just going to make friends by existing. And that, I really put myself out there in a sense of, I went to different classes. I really made an effort, as little as I suppose, as simple as this sounds, to just look up and like say hi to people, or like if I'm in a coffee shop, like just not keeping my head down all the time. I still do have a bit of a habit of just like, you know, keeping my head down, like not making eye contact. But I've really tried now to, like, if someone walks into the coffee shop, I'll look up and be like, hello, or like, how are you? Like, just making that, it's uncomfortable, but it has resulted in me getting into conversations with multiple people. And in fairness, people out here are probably a bit more welcoming. Like, at home, if you say hi to someone, 9 out of 10 people will just say hi and just move on. Whereas here, 9 out of 10 people will be like, hi, I'll sit down with you. And like, it's just, you know, and they'll start talking to you, and like, people are just so interested to like meet and connect and stuff, which is nice. But I think that's something I am going to bring home. Like, I am going to really, really try and say hi to people more. It's such a simple thing, but it actually does make a big difference. Like, if you are just to look up and say hi to more people, like, you're much more likely to start a conversation with them and potentially become friends with that person. And I think just in general, I'm going to make much more of an effort to meet people at home. Like I have a small circle of incredible people and incredible friends, and I don't want to say I don't meet them enough, because obviously we all have our own lives. Like, we're very busy. Obviously, before I came out here, I was up the walls with my final year projects and things like that, but I am really going to try and make more of an effort to, like, intentionally meet a friend and book it into my diary and be like, we are meeting on this time, on this day, because I just think it's so easy to say you're going to meet someone or do something with someone and, like, you just don't. But I'm actually going to schedule it in now and, like, make it a priority, because I value my friends so much. And I really, really just want to bring what I've learned here about meeting people back home, because it's so easy to just let the days go by and, like, let plans slip by. But I'm really going to emphasize that. The next thing I wanted to touch on was how this trip has helped my relationship with food and my body as well. And just, I've touched on it in previous episodes, but I like to think of, like, recovery from an eating disorder as, like, an ongoing thing. So for anyone who may not have, like, listened to previous episodes, I am recovered from anorexia. But I do like to think of my recovery as an ongoing thing. So I'm very much recovered from anorexia. However, I'm still in recovery in a sense of I'm still learning and I'm still improving my relationship with food, my relationship with my body. I still challenge myself at times. I still battle with the odd thoughts here and there, but I'm just so able to manage them now that I'm no longer, like, in recovery, like active recovery. I'm more so, like, just in a period of developing and getting better all the time, you know. But this trip has definitely challenged my relationship with food. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, I'm in a really good place with my nutrition. I eat well. I have enough energy. I'm not held back by food. But it has still challenged me. And I think that's okay to admit. Like, you could be in a really good place with food, but still find some things hard. And I think that's just okay. Like, yes, I do consider myself having a healthy relationship with food, but I've still been challenged quite a lot. And to be honest, I think a lot of people would be. Like, coming out here, it's so cheap to eat out that, like, it's actually easier to eat out than to cook. And when I'm at home, I don't eat out much. And since coming here, I've been eating out every single day. Like, for the last 7 weeks, I've eaten out every single day, at least twice. Most of the time, it's 3 times. And that has been challenging. And I don't think that's a bad thing to admit. Like, yes, I'm a coach who helps people improve their relationship with food. Yes, I am recovered from anorexia, but I've still found that hard. And I think it's been really good for me, because it's really allowed me to completely let go of any control I have had around my food. And I think having control of food, it's not unhealthy. It's not a bad thing. Like, I think being in control of your diet is actually really important to live a healthy life. Like, it's important to control your diet in a sense of, like, if you're having a dessert, like, you're not having 10 slices of cake. Like, it's important to know that, okay, I've probably had enough. If I've had a large slice of cake, that's probably okay for me. Like, I don't need to keep eating it. But, like, what I mean by letting go of control, I suppose, just not knowing exactly what I'm eating all the time. Like, and also not tracking a certain, like a single thing for the last 7 weeks. And I haven't tracked calories in a long time, but like obviously when you're creating meals at home that you always make, you know what the calories are in it if you've tracked before. Like I always have oats for breakfast with my protein powder and my chocolate and my berries, and like I just know the calories and macros in that because I make it. I used to track it, so like I know it. Whereas here I'll go out and I might order oats in a coffee shop. I have no idea what's in it. I have no idea how many grams of oats are. I have no idea what they've put in it. They usually put like loads of peanut butter in smoothies and stuff. I have no idea if it's 20 grams or 50 grams of peanut butter, but I just eat it and I get on with it. And that was really uncomfortable and still is uncomfortable at times for me. But it's been so good for me. Like, oh my God, I can't even explain. Like, it has just completely forced me to sit with the discomfort and understand that actually I haven't just blown up. My body hasn't just completely, changed. I haven't lost loads of muscle because I haven't been hitting a certain amount of protein every day. Like, my body isn't wasting away. I'm not just turning to nothing. Like, I haven't just gained 20 kg. Like, the body is just amazing. Like, it doesn't just drastically change when your diet changes a bit. Like, obviously I've been eating still really healthily. I've been trying to get my protein in where I can. I've been trying to eat meals that contain fruit and veg and, following these like basic principles. But like, I've completely just let go and really gone with the flow in. Oh my God, that rhymes. That's so cringe. I've completely just let go and gone with the flow. But I don't think I'll realize how much it has helped me until I go home. But it really has. Like, it really has helped me, especially in a sense of like eating more balanced meals. Like, at home, I don't think, like, I ate balanced meals, but like I might like skimp on like fats a little bit. Like, I'd have some peanut butter, but I wouldn't have like a big thing of peanut butter. I'd just have like a little bit. Whereas here, like, they throw the peanut butter in. So it's like when I go home, I'm like going to be much more relaxed about spreading loads of peanut butter on my toast. And I'm not going to have to weigh it out, or I'm not going to have to like worry about having quote unquote too much, because I can say to myself, well, I had loads out in Bali and nothing happened. Like, if anything, I just felt 10 times better and it was way nicer, So just little things like that. I just think anyone who is like, feels like they're in a good place with food, but like there's that kind of like, they're not fully satisfied with their relationship with food. Like, there's definitely things that they're still a bit uncomfortable in areas. I genuinely think eating out that bit more, or getting someone to prepare food for you, or not weighing or tracking, it's so freeing. Like, it's just, and I think doing it for one day, like, okay, that's great, but like, you have to keep doing it. So like, I think if I was just here for a week and I'd done that for a week, I don't think it would have done anything for me. But the fact that it's been 7 weeks of like every single day being that little bit uncomfortable and sitting with that, it has given me evidence. Like, I've given myself, it was a bit of an experiment, I suppose. I've given myself that full evidence that, oh my God, if I eat food and I don't really know what's in it, and it might be a bit oily, there might be a bit more calories than I thought, or whatever, that's fine. Like, nothing bad has happened. Like, I'm still here, and my body hasn't changed drastically. Maybe it has a little bit, but I actually don't really notice. I don't take progress pictures at the minute, so like, I suppose I don't place much emphasis on my body at the minute. So yeah, it's just been so helpful. The next thing that I've really started to tap into is my body and body appreciation. There was this realization the other day. I actually had it on my Instagram story, but it was a video I took of myself of like doing RDLs in the gym. And I looked at the video afterwards and I felt quite bad about my body. My body image hasn't been great on this whole trip. Like, I feel fine, but like, I wouldn't say I feel body confident. And I'm okay with that because I don't place I don't place all my worth on my body. So like if I don't feel good in my body, that doesn't mean I don't feel good in myself, because I know that I offer much more to the world than that. And like if my body in my head isn't that nice, I'm just like, okay, that's okay, because I mean, I offer more anyway. So like if my body isn't that nice, at least I have lots of other traits that other people can value, like my kindness and my compassion towards others and my friendliness and blah, blah, blah. So like having poor body image isn't always the be all and end all. In the past it was, because I used to place too much worth on my body. So like if I had a bad body image day, my whole day would be ruined. Whereas now it's like, it's okay, because like I have so much other things I can offer people. So like, okay, if my body isn't something that I like right now, that's okay. But anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. But I was picking myself apart in that video, and I was like, oh, like my legs don't look that nice. I think I actually look a bit heavier, and like I don't look as lean, and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay, you are being ridiculous here. You were looking at yourself doing an RDL with 90 kg for 8 or 10 reps or whatever it is. And you are giving out that your leg doesn't look as lean as it did in a different video, in different lighting, a couple of months ago. I literally I was so mad at myself. I was like, how dare I bash my body? I am literally lifting 90 kg off the ground. And I'm giving out about my leg, that it doesn't look as lean as it did in a different video. I was just like, that is so disrespectful to my body. Like, my body is the reason I'm in this country, being able to lift this weight, being able to travel the world, being able to climb hills, climb mountains and explore and go on bikes and do everything. And I'm just like giving out that it like doesn't look this certain way. Like I just did get really mad at myself in that moment, because I thought, you know what, that's so disrespectful to me, and that's not the true Jen speaking. That is society. That is beliefs that I've maybe picked up from social media. And I just thought to myself, like, that's just, it does not matter what my bloody leg looks like in a video. Like, that doesn't matter. No one cares. And anyone that does care about that kind of thing, like, their values are just elsewhere to mine, because I don't value how lean someone's leg looks, you know? So yeah, that was, this trip has definitely allowed me to appreciate my body more. Like, just even when I was traveling around the place, like climbing down these big mountains and like just doing all these things, I'm like, my body can like do these things. Like, it's able to climb, it's able to explore. Like, it's, you know, I know some people can't do that. Like, some people may not, their legs might not work, or like maybe they're not fit enough to do these things. And I'm like, that is why I exercise, like, to be fit, to be able to do these things. Like, it's not all about what I look like. And another thing that has come from this trip is that I kind of said to myself, I'm not going to stress myself out about the gym. Like, I'm not going to, if I don't have the perfect workout, or I don't have the perfect experience in a gym or with training or whatever it is during my time in Bali, I'm going to be okay with that. Same with food. If my nutrition isn't perfect, that's okay. If I don't hit my protein, that's okay. If I lose muscle mass, that's okay. If I gain body fat, that's okay. How many times can I say that's okay? I don't know. But anyway, all of those things, I was like, okay, it feels uncomfortable that I'm admitting this, but whatever happens to my body on this trip, I'm going to be okay with it. And I'm going to, well, I might not feel like I'm going to be okay with it, but I'm going to make myself be okay with it, because I reminded myself that this is a once in a lifetime experience. And also, my body should be a byproduct of my life. Okay? And it shouldn't be the other way around. It shouldn't be that my life is a byproduct of my body. And what I mean by that is, like, if I'm trying to hold on to a certain physique or, look a certain way, that means my life is going to have to be very focused around that. So that might mean always having access to a kitchen where I can prep my meals. Maybe it might mean always putting my gym sessions before meeting a friend, or it might mean always having to get my steps in, even if it means that I miss out on an occasion or something fun, or I don't know, whatever it is. I was like, I don't want to do that. I want it to be the other way around. I want it to be that I can say no to going to the gym and go meet a friend and go out for dinner. And if that means that over time my body changes, or I don't gain muscle at the rate I want to, or as quick as I wanted to, whatever, like, that's okay. And I really do believe that your life and your lifestyle is what should come first, and your body should be a byproduct of that. Obviously, that doesn't mean that you should just eat loads of like chocolate and sweets and never exercise and allow your body to just do its thing. But what I mean is, like, being healthy, obviously still eating nutritious foods, still exercising, and actually reframing that phrase, still moving your body every day and doing whatever feels right to you. So like, I was going into the gym as well, and like, I wasn't enjoying, like, over the last few months, I haven't really been enjoying like lifting really heavy and like really pushing myself, and like the thought of doing really heavy hip thrusts or like really heavy RDLs, like, it kind of makes me feel depressed. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, the thought of that, like, it kills me. And like, I kind of put up with that for a while. I was like, oh, I'll get over it. I don't feel like doing it, but I'll do it anyway. And I did that for months. And I still don't really feel like doing it. So I've been taking a slightly different approach where I might just do lighter weight. I might not train to absolute failure, or I might do 2 sets or even 1 set as opposed to 3 sets or 4 sets. And if that means that my glutes won't be as big, or I lose a bit of muscle, I'm kind of realizing that that's okay. Because if that means that I enjoy the exercise I'm doing more, it means my life is going to be better. Okay, I might not have this big, fat bum that I want, but if having that big bum means that I have to like despise my training and like hate going to the gym, I just don't think it's worth it. Like, I'm kind of just thinking like, I just want to do what I enjoy, and whatever happens my body within that process, I think I just need to be okay with it. And like, I'm definitely not fully there, like, in a sense of like, obviously I still want to build muscle, and I like that like toned and like muscly look, and I like, growing my glutes and growing my quads. But I'm like, if I hate the exercise I'm doing and I really don't enjoy the program that I'm on, and if I'd prefer to just do 2 or 3 gym sessions a week where I go in and do a little bit of lighter movements, if that means my body changes a little bit, like, I think I just need to be okay with that, because like, I'm still being so healthy, and like, it's still amazing that I'm going into the gym and doing something. And like, obviously I've gotten more into running as well. So like, that, if my body changes a bit from running more, like, I think I just need to be okay with it, because at the end of the day, you just have to do movement that you enjoy. And if, for me and for my clients, enjoyment is the number one fundamental priority of any sort of exercise or movement. Like, if someone doesn't enjoy their training or their exercise routine, there's no point in even doing it, because like, you're just not going to stick to it. So obviously having like a week or 2 of like very low motivation where you don't enjoy your gym sessions, that's different. But like, for me, like, it's been months now where I've just been really hating going in, training to failure, and just pushing myself really hard. And like, I'm just trying to give myself a bit of compassion and like allow myself to just train a little bit lighter, maybe train even a little bit less, and like, and I'm just talking like strictly weights here. Like I've been doing more running, so like as a result, my weight training has kind of decreased a bit. And like if my body changes, I think I just need to be okay with that, because I'm enjoying my training way more this way. And my body mightn't even change. Like maybe that's just me worrying, because it's so easy to maintain muscle mass as opposed to like build it. You know, building takes much more like, I suppose, commitment. But yeah, that was kind of a big one for me, that like I'm going to do what I feel is right for me in terms of the gym. And if my body changes a little bit because of that, I'm going to let it be, because maybe that's the phase that I'm entering now. And your body is a byproduct of your routine and your life, and it should not be the other way around, in my opinion. Obviously, for someone like a bodybuilder, or, you know, where their physique is very high, I suppose they put a lot of emphasis on their physique, like that's different. But for someone like me who just wants to be healthy and happy, and I just don't need to, like, I don't need to be hammering myself in a gym session if I don't enjoy it. Like, if it means my bum is going to be half an inch smaller, like, okay, I'll take it, you know? Like, I don't know. But that's been quite a big one for me on this trip, that like, I'm kind of just like, if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing in the gym, I just don't think it's worth it for me. Like, I love the gym, but like, maybe I would love it more if I just went 3 times a week as opposed to 4 really intense sessions. I'd rather do 2 to 3 lighter sessions and then a couple of runs as well. And whatever way my body responds to that, I'm going to just allow it. As long as I'm eating well, feeling my body sleeping right, I'm just going to go with it. And that's a big one. And I think that might help a lot of people, because I think a lot of people do get in like this not negative mindset, but like they get a bit stuck in their training routine, and they think anything less than that or anything different from that is not enough. And it's like, no, you need to, if you don't enjoy the gym, or you don't enjoy something, like, there's no one form of exercise that you have to do. Like, do something that you enjoy. Like, yes, exercise is so helpful, but it doesn't have to be the same as your favorite influencer online or your friend. Like, some people enjoy other things way more than others. Like, I tried out a boxing class here. I mean, I wouldn't say I hated it, but I definitely didn't love it. But I know one of my best friends back home adores it. And like, that's amazing. She does that for her. And like, I can do something else for me. And everyone is different. And I just think, you know, you need to find what's best for you. And that could be a combination of lots of different things. The last thing I'm going to touch on is my Fitbit. And this is a really recent thing. Like, this literally only happened like 5 days ago. And since coming to Bali, what I've found is that I'm taking everything as a sign. So like, when something happens, I'm much more open to being like, okay, that's a sign that I should do this, or that's a sign that I should do that. Like, I lost my AirPods a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, maybe that's a sign that blah, blah, blah. You know, like, all these, like, when something happens that might be annoying or negative, or like, for example, I was in Gili T. It's like an island off the coast of Bali the other day, but the boat over, I missed, or I didn't get on the first boat, and I was so annoyed about it, and I was like getting myself down. But as a result, I met this amazing couple, and we ended up spending the whole morning together. They missed the boat as well, so we spent the morning chatting and having the best crack ever. And like, we swapped, like, I got their Instagram, and like, we just connected really well. And like, I just said to myself, like, you know what, that was maybe the universe's sign that, like, okay, I missed that boat trip, but I missed it because I was meant to meet those people, and maybe further down the line we will link up again in some way. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, there was a reason. Like, there's a reason behind everything. So basically, long story short, I lost my Fitbit the other day. I don't know where it's gone. Like, I remember taking it off in my room. Like, it's definitely in my room, but I've searched the place everywhere, and it's just nowhere to be found. And I genuinely think it is the universe's way of telling me that this is the final straw. Like, this is your last challenge before you go home. You've overcome so much, Jen, in terms of your relationship with food, in terms of like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, just doing uncomfortable things. And I just feel like the Fitbit was the last thing. Like, I feel like very content in so many other areas, but the Fitbit was just, I didn't realize it, but I think it was the last thing holding me back. I've had my Fitbit off for 5 days now, the longest I've ever had it off since buying it. And I'm a bit embarrassed to admit that, because like, obviously I like to think I'm in a good place with like my food and exercise, but I have found it a bit hard. And I don't think I realized how much I did rely on it. And it's only in the last few days I've realized how much I have relied on it. Like, I'm kind of looking down at my hand to see my steps, and then I realize my Fitbit isn't there, and it's like, that was a sign. Like, that was the universe telling you that you needed to take that off. And I just think right now for me, I don't have a weight loss goal. I don't have a muscle building goal. I don't have a physique goal. I'm just happy to move my body every day, whatever way that feels right for me, whether that's dancing in my room, whether that's going for a run, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's going on a gentle walk, whether it's doing yoga. I don't care what it is. I don't need my Fitbit to tell me what I need to do. I'm happy to move my body in a way that I feel makes me feel good. I don't need the Fitbit to tell me whether it was effective or not. But I think it's actually amazing that that has happened just before I've left Bali. And I really do think it was a sign that I needed to just let it go. And if I never find the Fitbit, I actually don't mind. I actually don't care. I don't think I'm going to get one. I get another one. I might get a Garmin for my running, because I do want to get better at running. But like, I'm only going to wear it for my runs. But yeah, I just think the Fitbit is the last thing now. And like, it is uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. I am finding it a bit uncomfortable, like not knowing exactly how many steps I might be getting in. But I do think that's a real big indicator that I needed to take it off, and it needs to go. So yeah, that's kind of the last. I mean, I've learned way more. I've learned so much more than everything I've spoken about here. But yeah, that was kind of the main findings I've had for this trip. And I think I will do another episode on this, because I've so much more that I want to share about like my experiences here. But I think that's just a nice beginning of all the things I've learned on my solo trip. So yeah, that is everything for today, guys. I really hope you've taken something from this episode, and the next time you'll be hearing from me is when I'm home in Ireland. I'm actually going to be moving to Limerick for a couple of weeks, and I don't know what's going to happen then, but I am moving into Limerick anyway for a while. So yeah, sending everyone all my love. If you've listened to this episode, again, forever grateful. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe or follow the channel, or the whatever it is called, and give it a 5-star rating. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. And wherever you are, just know that things are going to be okay if you're not feeling the best, and that all feelings are temporary and no feeling can last forever. So just hang in there if you are struggling, and my DMs are always open. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you in the next one.